Welcome to our podcast. We got Bill, we got Diamond, we got, DC at the bottom.
What's up?
How y'all doing?
Good. Packing right now because I got to move later on tonight. But everything all good. How y'all doing?
Doing good over here.
What about you, Donovan?
So what we're gonna start first is the MLB playoffs. So last night we had the Houston Astros play against the Seattle Mariners. And the Mariners actually had the lead again, 2-1, going into the, later half of the game until Yordan Alvarez, decides to take a ball opposite field, almost 400 feet, like he did maybe 2 nights ago. So what's the thoughts on that?
I think Astros got it this year. I think they're taking it all again this year, bro. It's like they're already still going to be a top contending team no matter what. It's like only thing I wish would happen is just their pitching. It's just the pitching, the location and everything. But man, that homer last night, man, that was crazy. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was watching that.
I don't understand why people keep throwing this man fastballs. He's already clearly know he can hit the fastball. So you're going to keep throwing fastballs, and he's already proven to you he can take a fastball off of a bat of 117 miles per hour.
Wow. They're representing the American League in the World Series. I mean, they're just Seattle is giving them everything they could do. I mean, Justin Verlander is going to win the Cy Young. Played terrible in Game 1, and then all of a sudden they just come back and win the game on a walk-off home run. They are just too good in the batting lineup. There's no break between the one hitter and the 9 hitter at all on that team. And don't be surprised if they go for that sweep. But I think Seattle would probably steal Game 3.
I got a feeling they'll steal Game 3 too. They'll be at home. They'll have that crowd behind them.
First playoff game there in 21 years. There's got to be going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, even though it's been 21 years, they actually should have this lead in this series 2-0 if they execute a couple pitches. They could be going back to Seattle 2-0 if they execute a couple pitches instead of throwing the same pitch to the same dude.
I don't know. I say Astros gonna take it, man. Game 3.
About an hour from now, we got Yankees Guardians. Later on at 4:30, we have Phillies Braves, and later tonight we have the Dodgers and Padres. So the Yankees and Guardians, they're gonna have two really good pitchers going. They're gonna have their ace for the Guardians, Shane Bieber, with a 2.88 ERA, 13-8 on the season, and the Yankees are throwing out Nestor Cortez with a 2.44 ERA, 12-4 on the season. So who's taking that one?
I got Yankees taking that one.
I'm going to go with Cleveland. I like Cleveland too. I just think pitching, they're just really good. I still think Cleveland might win that series because the Yankees are just too inconsistent batting outside of Judge. So
actually,
I think overall,
I'll take you on that because the Guardians' defense, especially, has been like up there lately, especially for like playoffs and throughout the season. So
with the Guardians, they don't have nothing to lose. The Guardians don't have nothing to lose, so they throwing their ace on the mound. There's nothing to lose. If they go down 2-0, they're gonna look at it like we shouldn't even been here in the first place because they would count it out all season. So, and they come back and win the AL Central.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people counted them out throughout the season. Right when they changed the name again, a lot of people already counted them out and didn't think they would make a playoff. I mean, they made it farther than the Cardinals, and I'm kind of upset about that one. But hey, it's like that's what happened when you ball out, though. So I mean, hey, I give them all props balling out and just shutting all the haters out. So I'll go ahead and take the Guardians on that one over the Yankees.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with you. I mean, Judge has had an incredible season, but I mean, Yankees are leaving it to one guy essentially, and it's a team game for a reason.
Literally. We got Phillies and Braves at 4:30. Spencer Strider is throwing.
Braves all day. I'm sorry, but Braves.
Yeah, they're throwing one of their better pitchers than Spencer Strider with a 2.67 ERA, 11-5. But you can't count the Phillies out though. They throwing their ace Aaron Nola. He's been, on one for the past couple games.
Yeah, I think Nola's been outstanding over the last two starts. To get the playoff clincher against Houston, and then the one against St. Louis. He pitched a gem. We also pitched a gem the other night, but if it wasn't for Rhys Hoskins that game, that's lost it for them. To me, if you're a betting man, bet the under because Strider has had a lot of success against the Phillies this year, and Aaron Nola at home. I trust that a lot. It's the first home game for the Phillies in almost a month, so the crowd's going to be rocking. It's going to be tough. I don't know where I would go with here. I want to say my Phillies, but Atlanta's just too good top to bottom to beat them throughout an entire game.
Yeah, they got the pitching, they got the batting, they have Acuna.
Yeah, and
You don't want that man
he
to
got
get in the hot
hurt. He got hurt last game, and then you're thinking, oh, he's out for the game. Probably, all right, we're going to be fine. And then all of a sudden, he's still playing right field. That's why he's one of the best players in baseball. But their X factor to me is how does Matt Olson play? Because Matt Olson, if he decides to turn on a ball, he could hit one. He could hit one 400 feet, no problem. Yesterday, he hit a ball, or 2 days ago, he hit a ball left field that was 5 feet from being a fair ball, and he hit it off the end of the barrel, and it would have been like 420. It was insane, but I think the Phillies hold their own tonight at home.
Yeah, FanDuel is agreeing with you as well. They're the favorite -112. I mean, it's dead even really because, the Braves are -104, but I'd say take the Phillies at home, bounce back game. But you can't go away with the Braves, so my pick is really I'm going to just go with the Braves, take the plus money.
Braves,
You can't go wrong with it.
I don't like the Phillies anyway.
I'll take the Braves, take the plus money, 104.
What I face? Oh, that's your team. I forgot. I'm sorry.
And lastly, we got Dodgers and Padres. We got Blake Snell taking a bump for the Padres with a 3.38 ERA, and then the Dodgers are throwing one of the fantastic pitcher they got. He's 16-1 with a 2.14 ERA. So he's lost one game all season, and so FanDuel is backing the Dodgers, of course, but with the Padres being at home, Padres being good at home, I'd say I'm not going to touch the money line. I'd say take the under 7.5 of the run line. I'd take that under. I don't think 8 runs get scored in this game. Not with two fantastic pitchers right now. Take that under.
It'll definitely be a pitcher's duel for sure. I'm going to have to go with Padres on that too. I mean, they've been good all season, decent all season at least.
Padres got some momentum right now. If you want to take money line, I'd say you can't go wrong with the Padres sitting at plus 108. That's plus money, and they're at home with their crowd backing them. But my guess, you could either take their spread at plus 1.5 with, them not to lose by 2 runs, or take the under 7.5 total in the run line, which means I don't think 8 runs will score. So, yeah. So that's the Major League Baseball playoffs right now. So we're going to go to basketball. Go ahead, Meech. What you got?
All right. Start of it. Your boy Zion Williamson is hurt again. Yes, I said that. Hurt again. He's on a day-to-day high ankle sprain. I feel like, in my opinion, they should have waited to start him to the season. At least let him get a game in just to get warmed up and being back on the court and just be with the team. But I feel like they shouldn't put him in to try to go all out during the preseason when they have one of their toughest matchups coming for their first game next week on Wednesday against the Brooklyn Nets for their first official regular season game. So if it was me, I would have played him at least one game, about 15 total minutes, and then just let him ball out and do what he has to do at practice. I don't know what's gonna happen from there. He had foot surgery on his right foot, I think it was, and he's now just fully back to that. Hell, he's healthy, dropped some weight, but now he has an ankle injury in his day to day. So they don't know if he's gonna be ready by regular season.
I think that for how great he was in college at Duke, and I don't see him having a very lengthy NBA career, or very fruitful NBA career at that. Just because, I mean, what he was known for in high school and throughout college was his dunking and jumping ability. And in this will be his third season in the NBA.
Yeah, but
it's
he's
foot
looking like
surgery now, a high
high
ankle
school him
injury.
though.
I
He's
mean,
still looking like high school college him though. He's playing still aggressive, still out rebounding, aggressively taking the ball out of people's hands. As I was watching their last game, and just like he's playing dominant big man basketball down low. I say I don't think he's with the right team of his playing style. It's like he needs a team that's like has speed and has that ability to move the ball around faster. So like how Golden State can move the ball around like real fast. That's like he needs a team like that, because in his transition with him cutting through the lane, I don't think nobody's gonna stand in his way, even if so. So if you put him on a team that can match with that, but that's not gonna happen for another 5 years after that contract extension. But I just feel like would be better for another team.
Yeah, the injuries just keep coming with Zion. I don't want to say that you can't trust him to be on the court, but I think they need to really invest in another power forward, whether that's in free agency or the draft next season, because he's too injury prone. You got CJ McCollum, you got Brandon Ingram, you got Valanciunas as the center down there in the paint who can get you like 15, 20 rebounds a game if you wanted to. Who else they got? They got what's his name? Jackson Hayes. They got down there.
Hayes.
There's another guy down there.
He's about to start his second year, right? Jackson Hayes is.
Yeah.
So
obviously you got Devontae Graham down there who's going to be a scorer, even though he doesn't bring what Zion got. You got Herbert Jones.
I just feel like Zion is good, but I just feel like he tries to overdo too much at one time or in one possession having the ball.
I think that Zion is too one-dimensional in the fact that his only game is banging. I mean, he bangs, he dunks, he jumps high, he gets rebounds, and he gets in there and he gets physical. All these injuries, eventually he's either going to have to attempt to change his game, and I don't know if he can do that. I don't think he knows a different style of basketball.
Got to work at the three, though. So I say next on the topic is Russell Westbrook. At the last preseason game, he did not huddle up with the team, and he talked about the reason why. That's just a thing he's been doing most of the time. He already talks to the guys before they go on the court. So that's just like him or how he gets ready for everything. I understand that, but I say more bonding with your team. And then the one that they didn't see, but it was showed later after that they were huddled up around the free throw line, and Beverly kept calling him over, but he was actually talking to one of the coaches, and nobody didn't see that the video was cut out from him talking to the coach. Then you see him scoot into the video. I can understand where you're coming from. Some people have their own routines and traditions and stuff like that. But still, that's your team. I feel like you still should be huddled up with them and see what they're talking about, so y'all all can still be on the same page. But mixed in with that, there also is trade rumors going around for Russell, but nobody is nudging to try to pick him up at the moment.
Westbrook.
Nobody wants that contract. Nobody wants that contract. Nobody does.
I wouldn't even say
$47 million.
I mean, I don't have anything against Russell. I think he's a great player. I think he had an off season last year. Everybody has him. This recent stuff, I think it's media blowing something that's not there, trying to make a story out of it. I think that their team chemistry is still growing and still needs to grow for the Lakers to actually compete. But as far as Russell not being a part of the team disliking Russ, I don't think there's anything there with it. And I hope that I don't want to see him in LA anymore, just because of. And I mean, it's not been good for his career. I mean, he went out there hoping to win multiple championships in a row with LeBron, but obviously that's not happening. So
Yeah, I agree with that. It's just a distraction. Nobody wants that contract. You're obviously not sending him to the G League. That's out of the picture.
Heat. I'd say send him to the Heat. Send him to the Philadelphia 76ers. Or send him to
Sixers are a death trap.
Yeah, they got Sixers. He will not mesh with Harden and Joel Embiid. That would not work.
That'd be a nice trio.
Yeah, I mean, fantasy wise, of course.
No,
you don't want that trio, but real life, that ain't meshed.
I say real life, that'd be a good trio because you got to do shoot and pass the ball. You got Harden who can shoot, definitely pass the ball. He can get to the lane and be gonna get his rebounds, gonna get his dunks, his blocks. Westbrook, you put him in that lineup, he can drive. His shots got way better. But think about it, the man has so many triple doubles, especially the assist and the ball movement that can come from him. I say that would be a perfect trio.
I mean, it sounds nice, but they're not gonna take that contract. They got Tyrese Maxey.
We got no money, dude.
They're not taking that contract, bro. Let's just be honest. They're not taking that contract. They got Tyrese Maxey at the age of 20-something, early 20s. They not finna deal with Russ. Heck no.
No, and they, if they were to deal with Russ, one, the contract's too much for him, and for what they use him for, experience and him being a vet, which really they don't even need that when they have Harden and Embiid. So,
yeah, they're most likely saying that Russ is probably going to be a sixth man off the bench this year.
I like that. Start Patrick Beverly over Russ. Russ can't be on the court with LeBron James.
It just won't work. Too much takes away.
Agreed.
It's too much. It's too much ball dominance between both of them, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah,
Russ needs to be more like Dwayne Wade was 2008 Olympic team. You know, being that sixth man coming in off the bench to, you know, give the guys the starting five, any of them really, because he can play, you know, top three positions if he wanted to. I mean, he'd be an undersized small forward, but I mean, he can still play that position if he really wanted to. But he needs to be that guy that can give them a break but still keep the momentum for the team.
Yeah, we just have to be honest with ourselves, though.
Nobody wants that contract.
Nobody wants that contract. Number one, we got to be honest with ourselves now. Nobody wants that contract. Number one, and number two,
that's
number two, he got to be willing to take the back seat. He got to be willing to take that back feed, let that ego go, and he has to be able to take that six-man role.
That'll be the big question for this year for sure, is whether or not he can, you know, sit back and be that six-man. I mean, he was kind of the secondary all-star with KD in Oklahoma, and then he was in Oklahoma for so long by himself, and he was the guy there. I think he got used to that, and you know he did great in that role. But it'll definitely be.
All right, with the NBA starting up Tuesday at 7:30, we have Boston Celtics and Philadelphia 76ers actually. As right now, that's October 18th. That'll probably be on NBA TNT. I have to check back with that, and right now FanDuel is favoring the Celtics with that. So now we're going to transition ourselves to football, college football, NFL. Go ahead, Bill.
Well, with college football, this is probably the best week of college football we have all season. At the noon time, I mean, you got Penn State and Michigan. Those are two Big Ten. That's a Big Ten rivalry. To me, if Michigan wins this game, they have solidified themselves as a playoff team. in to make the college football playoff, whether or not they beat Ohio State or not. This is a big top 10 win if they get there. For Penn State, they have not had a lot of success at Michigan. They also have not made the Big Ten championship in, I think, 6 years. So this could be a big time game for them in their school to be able to get this victory. Michigan is -7 at home. Makes sense. They're a really good team. They run the ball really well. The strength for Penn State, though, is they like to defend. They defend the run very well. So this game's going to have to be on the arm of J.J. McCarthy. I don't know what you guys think, but I think this is probably, outside of Alabama, Tennessee, this is the game of the week.
You said what game was that? Michigan, Penn State?
Yep.
Michigan is, I would say, the second best game of the week, and that to me is, any other week it'd be the most talked about game. But
I mean, other than Michigan and Ohio, that's like an incredibly big rivalry game to begin with. And
yes,
especially in college football, there's a lot of history there between those two teams. I mean, it's bound to be a good game regardless of anything, postseason, anything having to do with postseason. I mean, it's going to be a battle. I mean, even if they had no chance of making the playoffs, it'd still be a battle. So throwing that little bit of playoff stuff in there, it's going to be a heated game. It's going to be emotional and probably going to be very physical.
Yep.
If Blake Corum runs for over 100 yards, Michigan is going to win that game with ease. Their defense is legit. Penn State had some trouble last week. Who did they play? Illinois?
They had a bye week last week, and the week before that was Northwestern, and it was ugly, but they were able to beat them.
Yeah. So if Michigan runs wild, they got two backs that can run. So if Blake Corum runs wild for over 100 yards a game, is going to probably go to Michigan, I want to say. Even though I'm rooting for the Nittany Lions because I'm go green, go Michigan State. Love Michigan State to death. But and what they did to my school about a couple of weeks ago or last week or something, screw Ohio State. And but yeah, I like Michigan. I like Michigan in that game, especially if Blake Corum goes off. Penn State Penn State at home?
This is at Michigan. It's at the Big House.
Oh, yeah. Then I'd taken – okay, yeah. Michigan is going to probably most likely win that game.
Yeah. I'll hate it.
I say give me Michigan. Give me Michigan. Even though I feel like yeah, that'll be a good game. It'll be
It's going to be close if Penn State can stop the run. They can't stop the run, then that game's going to be over in the second quarter.
Yeah, I agree. I completely agree because I don't think Sean Clifford can throw them back in a game against Michigan at all. No. So I think that would definitely be difficult for Penn State to win. But the game of the week by far and away. Oh, my fault. You got it.
Yeah, if the only way Penn State is that if they got to take them off the field. That's the only way Penn State has a challenge in that game because, yeah, like I said, they got Blake Corum, they got J.J. McCarthy and those wide receivers. And Penn State's quarterback, he's not going to throw for 400 yards. It's not going to happen. So,
not at all. But then the game of the week, you got Alabama at Tennessee at 3:30 on Saturday. That's the number 3 and the number 6. That's going to be – if Bryce Young plays, that's two of the top, 5 quarterbacks in college, probably 2 of the top 3 quarterbacks in college right now.
Yeah,
I say no. I say he's not been playing how he should be playing, in my opinion.
He hasn't been playing. He hasn't been like he was last season.
Yeah, but I understand he's one of the top quarterbacks. But man, if you want to solidify yourself, like you got to play like you got to play like yourself. You know what I'm saying? So it's like be yourself out on the field, play how you play ball out. Like let's see the last year you as well. It's a new you this year. You know. So it's like I feel like he's not been playing to his full potential where he needs to be, and I feel like the offense has not been running smoothly for the first half, most of the time, the first half of the game. But usually in the
Oh
second
yeah,
half, everything gets together. But man, usually when you got Bama, who's already going to be a top team every year, I'm like, you got a quarterback like that, always going to have the lineup with receivers. You should be balling out every single quarter. You know what I'm saying? So it's
yeah,
like most of the time, you don't. The offense is not getting together, doing everything they need to do in that first, second quarter, in the first half. So it's like most of the stuff we see coming in at the last minute, and then they get the victory. So it's like they have to stop making these games so close to teams they know they can beat. You know,
yeah.
so
This game is at Knoxville, so it's in Tennessee. Tennessee's quarterback has played unbelievable this year. He's got 10 touchdown passes to 0 interceptions in 5 games. He's almost 1,500 yards passing. Tennessee this year in their games, they've pretty much dominated everybody they've played except Pitt went to overtime, but Pitt's not a bad team either. But Tennessee overall, this is probably the toughest matchup for Alabama all year until they probably get to the SEC championship game. But
And that's going to be the same for
I don't
Tennessee
know.
too.
Man, that's tough. Alabama is favored, by the way, by 7.5.
That is crazy.
I got to go with Tennessee.
On the spread, I agree.
I think that you know, as good as Alabama is, I think they're bound to lose one this season, and why not
Yeah.
against Tennessee?
Especially if Bryce Young doesn't play, get in there early. Because
Yep.
because right now I think FanDuel has them thinking Bryce Young is going to play. So I think they have them thinking he's going to play. So if you want and really stay up to the news, because the minute that news of Bryce Young come out, if he's going to play or not, that'll determine what picks you take. But it doesn't matter. I'm still taking Tennessee plus 7.5. They not. It's going to be way a closer game than most people think it's going to be.
Tennessee's good. They are really, really good.
And to think that last year they were not even close to where they are now. That blows me. That's just beyond me, man.
That Pitt game, that was like first or second game of the season, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That was second game of the year, yeah.
Yeah, that don't mean.
That's what I mean.
You got to look at it, but at the end of the day, it don't mean much. I mean, it's they're still working out kinks and blowing out, rolling all over everybody else that they've played. I mean, SEC's not easy. I mean, I know they got there's Kentucky and Mizzou and occasionally Arkansas when they don't get their heads out of their butt, but the SEC is not an easy conference to play in. And
not at all.
If they're running stride for stride with Alabama, I got to take Tennessee.
Yeah, me too.
I
agree. Now,
I don't know.
my fault.
I just don't know about that because I say Bama can easily stop Tennessee's run game, but man, Bama's DBs have not been there. So if they let that man throw the ball, it's going to be a problem for the DBs and the safeties for their secondary. So I'm going to take Tennessee. Take Tennessee.
I think Tennessee covers. I don't know if they win the game. If Bryce Young plays, I think Bama finds a way to win. But, if Bryce Young's out, and if let's say that spread is still the same, which would be wild, but I think Tennessee covers either way. But the night game tonight, or on Saturday night, the one on ABC's Clemson, Florida State, I'm not too interested in that game because I think Clemson will figure out a way to win because they're just overall better team than Florida State right now. But a big game in the Pac-12 is USC at Utah. Utah is favored by 3.5 at home. Utah is coming off a loss against UCLA where it was not competitive for the majority of that game. And USC is 6-0 coming off a win against Washington State. So, do you think Caleb Williams and Lincoln Riley are able to come off with a win for USC, or do you think Utah finally gives the Trojans their first loss?
I think I'm taking Utah. And the reason I'm taking Utah is it has nothing to do with stats or how they played so far, except for how they played last week. Coach has been on their ass all week. They're pissed off about what happened last week. And they're going to bring that. They're going to smack USC right in the mouth with it. I mean, I'm gonna take Utah. They're not gonna go away.
Yeah, every
And
time I
especially
look
if-
at Utah or think about taking Utah, they always come closer to the game and give me a heart attack. But Cam Rising at home, them coming after a blowout, basically, where they couldn't stop anybody against UCLA. Give me Cam Rising and Utah at home. Money line. Give me that.
Do you like the spread at 3.5?
The spread is about even. So you can go either way with that. But yeah, I'll take Utah with the spread. I could take Utah with the spread. Them coming off to giving up like almost 40, 50 points against UCLA. I think they step up to the challenge and give Caleb Williams a run for his money. So I think they'll win by at least 4, maybe a touchdown, possibly. Give me Cam Rising in Utah.
I'd say the top game, in my opinion, would be forget that Michigan Penn State game. I'd say the top game gonna be this KU, bro. KU versus Oklahoma. In my opinion,
that's nice.
This is literally gonna solidify Oklahoma's spot if they're gonna be contention in the playoffs and how they're gonna play all that. So they're 3-3 against KU's 5-1. KU's football has not been the greatest the last few years. So I say, in my opinion, that will be the top game this week, depending on if Oklahoma can win it out, because they do have Oklahoma, and they got an 8.5.
I think Kansas covers because Oklahoma's head coach is a defensive coach, and they're horrible on defense. So that's not good at all to me. Like that, to me, if you're a head coach and you can't even get the side of your ball right, that's bad. Kansas was very close. Who they just played last week? TCU. They almost beat TCU. They were competitive. Their quarterback, I believe, got hurt. I'm not sure if he's out this game or not, but I think that will also decide this game too. But another Big 12 matchup. No. I was talking about Kansas. Kansas quarterback got hurt during the game. I think Jalen Daniels, or is that his name?
Yeah, they said he's gonna be. He should be playing this game. Last time I checked, and so.
Oh, then give me Kansas. Give me Kansas. Especially if you're giving me that spread at 8.5.
Give me that plus money at 275 or 250. Right?
Give
me that plus money at 250. Yeah, I'll take Kansas.
And then there's another Big 12 matchup that I think is also intriguing too. It's at 3:30. It's Oklahoma State, who's the 8th team in the country, going to the 13th team in the country, and TCU. That's going to be a hell of a game because those are the quarterback for Oklahoma State. I feel like he's been there for the last 10 years. I feel like he's always been there. He's never left the school. And the quarterback for TCU has played outstanding this year. So I think that would be a high-scoring game.
It's funny because in high school, because he's from Iowa, in high school, I actually got a chance to write a paper over him for the news article. So I went to his game and watched him, and this dude is crazy, amazing. Like that scholarship he definitely deserved that, and that's what TCU needed for quarterbacks anyway.
Right. So we have Illinois versus Minnesota. We have Texas, Iowa State. Illinois is actually ranked at number 24 this week, which is for the first time since 2011. Then you got Michigan State, Wisconsin, and later on we got what else? We got BYU playing. Who are they playing? They're playing Arkansas, so that might be a good one. So we're gonna drop down a
Yeah.
diamond with hockey. Go ahead.
Yep. Biggest thing, I mean, season's just started. Most teams played 1-2 games. Can't really talk too much on games, other than one game that was played last night. Calgary had their home opener against the defending Stanley Cup champs in Colorado Avalanche. It was the Avalanche's second game. In their first game, they beat the Blackhawks 6-4, and the Blackhawks are dog water this year, to say the least. So I mean that can't really, you can't really say nothing about that. But Calgary, they broke a 12-year home opener losing streak last night, and they beat the
Wow.
Avalanche at home 6-3. That sixth goal being an open netter with 10, 15 seconds left to go in the game. But
6-3. Imagine taking the puck line on that.
but it was a very eye-opening game for me, and like I said, it's early in the season, so I mean, you can't really say too much about it and read into it a whole lot. But the defending champs look soft, very soft. And last year, what won them the cup was their physicality and their speed. And I think the play-by-play were saying they didn't even get in until 3:30 yesterday morning to Calgary. So I mean that plays into it a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean you're defending champs, and one of your leaders from last year is on that Calgary team now in Kadri. You gotta make a statement in that game, and they did not. They looked, like I said, very soft, not very physical. But Calgary, on the other hand, they lost their two top scorers from last season, in Gaudreau and Tkachuk. And they replaced it with Huberdeau from the Panthers and Kadri from the Avalanche. And they looked good. They looked very, very good. They were strong, physical, and fast. And they just outplayed the crap out of Colorado last night. And that's, again, early on in the season, can't really talk about, towards the end of the season, what that's going to look like. But definitely it was a eye-opening game for me. I like seeing the Avalanche get smacked around a little bit, being a Blues fan, but it is what it is. I guess biggest thing for this NHL season, major penalties, and this is the only rule that was changed over the summer. Major penalties are now going to be reviewed, and based on that review, they can say, oh, well, it wasn't actually a penalty, or hey, it's a minor penalty now. So that's something that will help out a lot, especially with suspensions and fines and stuff, because last season I saw a lot of suspensions and fines for things that accidental, no intent behind things happening, getting called for a major and then it going to the review board, and people getting fined and suspended, and there's just no real need for all that. But Connor McDavid had a very good first game with 3 goals and 1 assist. I mean, he are undeniably the best player in the NHL right now, and has been for the last couple of years. And he looks like he's doing the same thing again this year. Again, 1 game, but I mean that's what he's done the last 3-4 years. So I was looking at some of the early season early predictions for how the season is going to play out, and the Cup champs are interesting to me. The predictions on that, Avs were the favorite to win it again this year, and like I said, after what I saw last night, I think they'll make the playoffs. I don't think they'll go very far in the playoffs, but definitely not winning again this year. Oilers, I mean, they got McDavid, so
Yeah. I mean, you can't go wrong with the Tampa Bay Lightning either. They always seem to be in touch with everything every single season. And then the Toronto Maple Leafs, I just don't know what's going on with them. I think they just give their fans a heart attack every season. They think that all they gonna make it. They like the Dallas Cowboys of hockey. Oh, they gonna make it all the way. Yes, finally,
It's the year.
they're gonna get it, and they always lose in like the second round. They like the Dallas Cowboys of hockey.
Not even.
That's
Dude,
exactly.
they haven't won a playoff series since the 90s.
Yep. And
Like,
that's
mind blowing.
that's why the Toronto natives call them the Make Me Weeps.
And I'm looking at the
Makes
outright
sense.
bet.
I'm not even kidding you.
I'm looking at
I
the
had a-
outright betting odds for the Maple Leafs, and they the second favorite to win the whole thing. So
Yep.
they just trying to take people money.
Yep. And
Still
Austin
can't count
Matthews
the
is
Bruins.
actually the second favorite to win MVP this year, going up against which I mean
Wow.
that's I don't deny that either. Austin Matthews is another hell of a player, but
Dog.
I mean, when it comes down to MVP, as long as McDavid stays healthy this year and the Oilers are playing well as a team, MVP goes to McDavid. No, hands down. But yeah, other than that, Rangers are looking strong at the very beginning, and I think my Stanley Cup bet will have to be with the Flames.
Really?
Yes, Calgary is looking very good. They have Kadri, who just won a Stanley Cup with the Avs, and they got Huberdeau, who was on the best team in the entire NHL last year, and he was the leading scorer for that team. They lost probably their two best players in the offseason, but they replaced it with two. And as much as I hate to say it, but it's because Kadri, he's a fuck that guy. Sorry, but it's he has been that guy in the NHL for a while. Kadri has been, but he's a great player, and Huberdeau's a great player, and they're both vets. So they have a lot of experience, and last year they lost a 7-game with Edmonton. So it's I gotta go with Calgary. They're looking to make a cup run this year.
I picked Calgary last year, and they broke my heart going toward the end of the season when they lost to what? Who did they lose to? Who did they lose to in the playoffs? They beat Dallas.
Did they lose to Edmonton?
They beat the Dallas Stars. Think they did. They lost to the Avalanche, I believe.
Yep. You're talking about Edmonton, right?
Oh
No,
no,
I'm talking
I
about the
got
Flames.
the Avalanche.
Flames lost to Edmonton last year
Oh, okay, yeah, that's right.
in the second round, and Edmonton went on to lose to the Avalanche, and then the Avalanche swept the 3-time Stanley Cup champions.
Yeah.
In the Lightning.
I say Avalanche on the take it this year again. I'm sorry, they're just still too high.
I can't take out the Toronto. I can't take out the not Toronto. Oh God, no. I can't take out Tampa Bay. Again. I like Tampa Bay.
My thing with Tampa is old, and
they lost some guys this offseason.
Yeah, and it's
they lost Palat.
Especially on their defensive side with Brett Burns, who is an absolute monster defenseman, and they lost him. They didn't really replace either. Not anything meaningfully, and I hate to say it, my St. Louis Blues probably. I want to say they'll make the playoffs, but it'll be a to say that.
We'll probably lose second
they
round.
lost Husso and Perron in the offseason to Detroit. They filled Husso spot with Tommy Grease from Detroit, who he's a good player. He's an older player. He's going to be good for Bennington for sure. But they never really filled that Perron spot, and Perron it has been a key in St. Louis for a while. I mean, even when we lost them in the expansion to Vegas, I mean, we got them right back a year or two later. So I don't like the Blues odds this year. But I mean, that's why we play the game and everything.
Yep.
Will
We got
We'll
the
see.
Canadians and Red Wings tonight at 7.
Yeah.
We got Lightning and Blue Jackets as well at 7. Rangers and Jets, and Hurricanes and Sharks tonight for the games.
I'm gonna take the
We're going to
Sharks.
jump into
Yeah,
NFL
definitely.
for about 5 minutes, and we're going to let you all go. So, anybody got any picks on NFL? This is for everybody. So, go ahead.
Well, can we
Go
go
ahead,
real
go
quick
ahead.
and talk about that despicable game last night between the Washington Commanders and the Bears? I mean, that was just bad.
Here's my thing, and I am glad that these are all Thursday night games now, because they moved the Thursday night games over to Amazon, and now they're putting shit games on there.
Yeah, my Bears are just not it this season. Neither are my Broncos. So my NFL teams are just giving me a heart attack and just making me sad. So
All I want to say is this:
Thursday night games this season have not been what they have been in the past, and I think the NFL knew that in doing that deal with Amazon. They're going to get less views on doing a streaming service like that, airing solely on
but
streaming service.
they've been putting the game on Twitch as well too. So I was watching it on Twitch, but they had about a good 300,000-400,000 people watching on Twitch when I was watching it on there last night too. So, but all I want to say, fight Eagles, fight to the road to this. Let's go 5-0 Eagles. I think they're taking Super Bowl this year.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah! Let's go.
I can agree with that. The Eagles have been dominant this year, and it's hard to say that they're going to trip and stumble. I mean, obviously Jalen Hurts is young, but he's putting this team on his back, and and obviously it's not just him, but I mean, being in the position that he's in as quarterback, he's doing a good job of it.
His real defensive test is coming up against the Cowboys with their linebackers and their D lines, especially.
Exactly.
That's gonna be his main problem. I know sometimes he's been throwing a lot out of the pocket and running a lot. So it's like, I wouldn't say his O-line is a problem. It's just they got to know how to make sure they make the right adjustments, especially for that defensive line and those linebackers, because you let Parsons get through. It's Sac City back there, so you never know what can happen. But on top of that, the game I'm interested in is going to be the number one highlighted game, I feel like, is the Bills going against the Chiefs.
Two very young quarterbacks. Well, I mean, I guess Mahomes is he was last year, but I mean, he's still relatively new to the NFL. I mean, anything can happen.
True.
Josh Allen is definitely new to the NFL still. So it'll be a good game. They're both young. They can both move when they want to, and they both have an arm on them too. So offensively, that'll be a very good game.
Two offensive teams, definitely. So defense is definitely on the pick up on both sides of the ball, I say, in their favor.
I think
it's going to be two great games. It's going to be two great games. I mean, you got the Chiefs in that Bills game, and you're going to have them Cowboys and them Eagles. Give me them Eagles, though. Give me them Eagles.
Yeah, Cowboys going to give them a battle, though.
It's going to be a battle. It's not going to be no blowout. Oh, heck no.
But I think with Micah Parsons and DeMarcus Lawrence being banged up, when you got D linemen banged up, they can rush the passer still, but that means that against the run, they're going to be a little weak. And with the Eagles' way of running the ball as good as they do on a consistent basis, I think that they'll not only outgain the Cowboys, I think they'll eat up time of possession. I think the Eagles will probably win this game somewhere between that 6 to 10 point range, somewhere around that.
True.
Devontae Adams wise, I mean, I think we all know he's been charged with assault. And I'll just share my opinion on that whole situation. Should it have happened the way it happened? No, and no for two reasons. One, Devontae Adams should have been smarter. But two, the guy literally walked right in front of him. And
Yeah,
when
and
you
they're
got a
told
guy
not to
walking off the
put
field
any
and you're just
for
gonna, almost it literally looked like he blindly just walked in front of Devontae Adams and got pushed over.
Yeah.
It definitely, and he's facing jail time too. So, I mean, 6 months and $1,000 fine. And the Raiders have a bye week this week, so NFL's not really rushing a decision on what they're going to do with him as far as fining or suspending or anything like that. I don't think the NFL, if anything, they'll fine him. But
he should get suspended a game, 1 game suspension and a fine. That should suffice, because the NFL should step up to the plate on this one and show that that's not okay. Knowing that, I mean, he could have hit his head, he could have really actually hurt something. Just a thought, but of that happening. But I think he should get in 1 game. Fine, and then everybody will move on. He's a great man, good character. I'm not gonna say he's bad. I mean, I never met him.
He
from
his
all
time, his time in Green Bay shows that he's not a bad guy. I mean,
great character.
Yeah, exactly.
World class man, great dad, husband, probably most likely. The character on the guy is not bad, but he just made a bad action. That's all. And the NFL has to send him to.
I mean, being a former athlete, I know how, a game that, they probably should have won that game. They were up some at halftime, or I guess they weren't really up yet at halftime, but they got a lead, should have held on to it, but they didn't. Just knowing the situation of that game and, being a former athlete, knowing the frustrations of stuff like that happening, I know what he was going through. I know what mental state he was in walking off that field. But, that doesn't justify anything. I mean, he should have at least, instead of showing at the very least him still, running into him or whatever and knocking him over or pushing him down or whatever, he should have at least stopped and helped him up instead of just standing there staring at him.
Yeah.
Right.
I don't understand the police report, though. That is insane to me. Reporting it to the police, dude, I get it if he pushed him over and then maybe pounded his face in on the ground, but there's so much worse things he could have done than making that a police report. Yeah. And also the second thing from that game I got to take away from is he caught that ball on the sideline. I don't care what anybody says. If you watch that game, he caught that ball.
But I mean, on the police report side, like you said, I looked at what's been quoted off of it, and it's bullcrap. I mean, the charges will stick because I mean it's all over the internet. They have evidence that it
viral. Yeah.
I don't think he will do the jail time part of that as part of that consequence. I think he will pay the $1,000 fine, but or at least some sort of fine up to that amount. But other than that, I don't see anything else coming up the police report. Maybe a civil suit from the guy he pushed, so he can get some money out of that. But I don't look too much into the police report. It's the biggest punishment is going to come from the NFL, not from anywhere else.
True. So, at least that takes some Bobby Wagner tackling that one guy who ran with the shirt and the smoke on the field. So he's not the big news anymore with him hitting somebody, attacking somebody. So
are you talking about the streaker that Wagner laid out? Yeah. No,
can't run on the middle of the field and not expect to get hit. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Well,
I mean,
and that's-
what are we doing?
And that's what I don't get is how they let, a player do something like that, interrupting the game. But I mean, essentially the guy just walked in front of Adams and Adams knocked him over. I mean, did he push him? Yeah, but dude walked in front of him. They don't fine Bobby Wagner for laying out.
But they want to suspend it.
The
They
streaker.
wanted to suspend him though, which
But
is funny.
they're gonna do something to Adams in regards to him essentially walking in and knocking over a cameraman.
Right. All right. Well, we don't got too much else. You got anything going on with your betting? Get that in as soon as possible, especially with the Alabama-Tennessee game. Got the PGA Tour. Andrew Putnam and Ricky Fowler are leading that Zozo Championship. And with tennis going on, I mean, Serena Williams, the GOAT, has retired. So has
I don't think I'm gonna watch tennis anymore. So
so has yeah. So that's really all we got for today. Anything else?
nah, thank everybody who go watch, listen, tuning in. Thank y'all. This is our first official video, so we will have more social media and stuff up and our personal stuff as well too. If y'all want to give us a follow. Don't forget we will be throwing up polls for games and stuff. So y'all want to vote and see who y'all have on the game so we can see y'all perspective. If y'all got any questions or anything y'all want us to talk about, let us know as well too. And message us and we'll get right back with y'all.
Right. And that was Roger Federer that also retired with Serena. So 2 GOATs and 2 legends have left tennis. So we'll see you guys on Monday, and everybody have a good weekend, and make sure you watch them sports. And we got Yankees and Guardians going on right now. So go ahead, going over to TBS and tune in and watch Shane Bieber and Nestor Cortez go at each other. All right, guys.
I got to do.
Go Birds.
Bye, y'all. See you.
Perfect release from the top of the key. 3-step back, pull up, switch cheese, slam. Got the crowd out they seats. 1 step closer to the big ring. Courtside.